Why the 16th President of the United States was the best President of the United States. His name was Abraham Lincoln, and fun fact, he had no middle name, but he was known as Honest Abe because he once said he could tell no lies. He was born on February 12th of 1809, and he was shot on April 14th of 1865 and died the next day on April 15th, 1865. He was born in a log cabin in Hardin County, Kentucky, and later moved to Indiana. He had a wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, and 4 children, Robert Todd Lincoln, William Wallace Lincoln, Edward Baker Lincoln, and Tad Lincoln. His political party was the Republican Party, and he was in office for president from March of 1861 to April of 1865, dying during his second term. He was also in the House of Representatives from 1846 to 1848. His education was less than 12 months of actual schooling. He did not go to college, and he was self-taught by reading books all of the time. That is supposed to say 1865. Lincoln's first-term vice president was Hannibal Hamlin, and the second-term vice president was Andrew Johnson. He campaigned against John C. Breckinridge, Stephen A. Douglas, and John Bell during the first runnings, and in the second runnings, he ran against George B. McClellan. The Secretary of State for all years of his presidency was William Henry Seward. Some of the major problems during his presidency were scandals and obstacles. The first scandal was that the First Lady was found to be a thief towards the White House by stealing money and buying crazy expensive outfits that were not needed. The second scandal was a theory that Lincoln wanted blacks and whites to marry to become the American super race. This was not true, but it almost completely ruined his career. The major obstacles during his presidency was that he had a very rough time trying to keep the Union together, and he had major depression throughout his whole life. In his childhood, his family was very, very poor, and every cent he made went to his parents to help support his family. Lincoln did have some major accomplishments throughout his presidency too, like the Emancipation Proclamation, the ending of slavery, the reuniting of the Union, his very famous and well-known Gettysburg Address, the creation of the Secret Services, and the National Banking Acts of 1863 and 1864. Because Lincoln was one of the best presidents, he has many landmarks and monuments today, some including the Lincoln Highway, the Lincoln Memorial, Mount Rushmore, Hodgenville, which is a national park, Ford's Theater and Peterson House, the Lincoln Tomb, Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport, Lincoln Memorial University, and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, which is a Disney exhibit. And there are many more. Some interesting facts about Lincoln was that he was the tallest president, standing at 6'5", later shrinking to 6'4". On the day of his assassination, he told his bodyguard that he had a dream the night before that he was going to be killed. He was a wrestler and was only defeated once in about 300 matches. Hours before his death, he signed a paper creating the Secret Service. And he was the first president to not be born in one of the first 13 colonies. This is the Lincoln Tomb at Oak Ridge Cemetery in Springfield, Illinois. Here he is buried with his wife and 3 out of the 4 of his sons. In case this whole presentation hasn't convinced you that President Lincoln was the best president, here is the ranking of all the presidents. And as you can see, Lincoln has been ranked the #1 president for at least the past 17 years.